Okay, bro.
Sorry, guys. I thought I had it set up so y'all could just walk right on in. Seems like it's something different every time with this thing. We're getting a crowd in here pretty quick. Robin.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing, Coach Cantu? Right there.
How you doing? How you doing? We out here?
Good.
Oh my God.
I always like it when somebody rips in like that.
Hello, this is Steve Long.
Hey, Steve. Good evening.
Good evening.
That's time for my meeting right there.
Hello.
There's Katie. There's Eric. There's Steve. I see you now, Steve. Looking good, man.
Photoshop.
Go to settings.
I'll be back for another dose of the same stuff. You and Alan both. Hi, Coach Sickler. Good to see you.
Hey, what's going on?
I just hope.
I think the rule is, Bill, that if we attend all four of these, we don't have to come to any more meetings for the next 4 years.
Well, I know
I've been
Robin's been
zoomed
to a
out.
couple already, I think. There's James. Katie. Hello, Katie. Good afternoon.
Finally got that silly thing to work.
Well, I thought I had this one set up to start on its own. Guys, I'm trying to video this just for later use if we need it. I tried to video the two Tuesday night. I got one done, but I don't know what happened to the football one. It disappeared.
Pedro, you look bored.
Sir?
I've been in school all week. I haven't left home,
You poor guy.
and I'm watching the Mavericks, and I'm stressed.
Oh, well, that's stressful. You know, we got a new principal, so we have all kinds. Well, you do too. We have all kinds of new agenda. So don't
Yeah,
feel
you got Buddy out there, right?
Yeah. Buddy's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, no, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
I had 15 on my list, and I think I see 13 on here. That's including me, though. I'll go run through here right quick. High Point. High Point here yet? There we go. Sorry, Whitney, I didn't even see you. Victory Baptist, Brandon.
Yes, I'm here.
Katie's here. Temple Flower Mound. Okay. Christian Life Prep, Shauna. Or
I'm here. No, Nicole, the head coach for soccer
Okay,
varsity.
Nicole.
I'm here.
thank you. And Chisholm Trail.
I'm here.
Got both of you guys today. Alan's here from Westlake. I think Derek's here too.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Robin's here, still here from Tuesday night. Newman Cedar Hill. No Starkey.
Yeah, here.
Sorry, okay, there you are. You moved on me. You were on the other side.
Well, I can't control your computer. I have troubles enough with mine.
I know the feeling. Guys, Dallas Christian dropped out. Newman Arlington. Dela Cruz, Arthur, or Alberto.
We were just on a 3-hour Zoom meeting, so he may still be on because he's athletic director now.
Okay,
So I can get any information to him that we need to.
okay. I think he was in here Tuesday. Some of the stuff's going to be a repeat for some of you guys. But let's just kind of jump. There's somebody in chat. Yeah, there's Derek. He's here. Okay, let me see if I can do a screen share. Let me see if I can get some files open first. We'll start with this one. Sometimes this takes me a little bit, guys. I've been known to have to start over. Well, should be getting better at this, but I'm not. There we go. All right, we're going to share a screen now. Kind of going to start out kind of like we did last year. I know you guys know a whole lot more than I know about soccer. So we're going to talk a little bit about soccer, and then we're going to talk about some other things that are current, which I know that you're tired of hearing about. But that's kind of the way we're going this year. Right quick, the schedule. Talk a little bit about that. I know that we've got a couple of guys here. I don't know if Newman is going to be able to start on time or not. I had them in red on the original schedule, but what Coach Sickler and I talked about was due to the fact that we might have some things come up, is that we'll just try to play the last half of the district play for our championship and for our seeding. And the first half can serve as your schedule games, if you will, because August 25th is right around the corner. I don't think Westlake, Alan, are y'all not going to be able to go on the 25th and 27th?
No, we are not. We are not actually going to be able to go until September 17.
Okay, so y'all going to miss nearly all the first half.
Well, yes, and what we're going to attempt to do, if at all possible, is try to play 3 times a week and see if some of those games that we're going to have to miss, we can make up in the second half by playing a third game in a week.
It'll get you some games anyway, but we'll count the second half, which starts on September 17th, for our district championship play, for our seeding, and for all district and stuff like that. Coach Sickler and I talked a good bit about this. I try to get with our commissioners on things and discuss them so that so I can get it a little bit firsthand from people that kind of know what's going on.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, sir.
This is Robin from Burton. We're looking at starting like the 8th.
Yeah.
But I think from looking at everything, we're going to be able to play by our district twice. I talked to Alan a little bit yesterday. I think all my days are running together. So I think, the only one I haven't talked to is Cedar Hill, but I think we can get all our games in twice.
Yeah, and
they're worried about that.
Here's kind of a little backup plan. If we have some problems along the way right here or down here in the second half of the district and we have to cancel a game or postpone it.
Yeah, I got you.
If we get closed down for something, then we can revert back to the first half for that score. Hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully we'll be able to move and play forward. But man, it's a funny world out there. I couldn't even begin to predict. I've talked to most of you, 2 or 3 of you guys I know. I've talked to Alan and Robin and several. I'm just grateful that we're being able to going to be able to play this year, at least get started. So I'll try to move forward on this.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Whitney from High Point. We won't be able to start. We're not going back until September 28th.
Yeah. And you're here.
So we have by the 29th, and we'll play the 1st, 6th, and 8th of October, and that's it.
Okay. Alan stepped out a minute, or maybe he's muted. But one of the things that you can do, Whitney, and Alan and I talked about this. Well, we can't do it in soccer as well. you need to try to make up these 2 games if you can. The 17th and the 22nd. When did you say you're going to start?
The 29th.
You're going to have to make up 3 games.
Yeah. You need to try to make up those 3 games. You may have to play 3 games a week. I went through so many schedules in the last few weeks that I had to come back to the original. And I had thought that Pete said y'all would be.
Well, there may be some administrators that won't let their teams out 3 times a week.
Yeah, and we may have to deal with that in some other fashion. Let's see if we can play them, and if we can't, then we'll try to figure out something.
So I'm looking at September 17th, 22nd, and 24th are the 3 that I need to make up.
Yes, ma'am. If you can get it done.
Okay.
If you can do it, that
Let me
would be
talk to
good.
my AD.
If you can
Okay.
do it. There's a few other things that I've thought about in accounting for the late starters. And I think I know I've talked to Alan about it some. I might have mentioned it to Jim, kind of a percentage count. But we'll get into that later as we move down the course and see which way the wind's going to be blowing. Real briefly, I'm going to hit on a couple things, and I'm going to move off of this. Y'all know that all of our rules come from here. If you want to know about soccer rules and it's something that you don't know, don't call me, because I'm going to say call Coach Sichter. If you want to know about Tcaf rules, then that's fine. Talk to me, because I got those down pretty good. But I nearly always, when somebody calls me about a ruling, I almost always say, give them a quick answer. I'll give you what I know right off the bat. And I'll say, let me review that rule, because I always want to make sure that I work within our policy. And I try to stay in that as much as possible. I have had a couple times I've had to crawdad a little bit in the last 5 years, but my guess is we've all crawdadded a little bit at some time, so I'm not really embarrassed by it. Let's get away from the ejections this year. That's something that Coach Sichter and I did talk about. Let's get away from player ejections. Let's get away from coach ejections. I've never, Whitney, you're the only lady here. I think Shauna's here too. I have never, in my 5 years with the league, had to deal with an ejection which involved a female, either coach or player. So y'all got something up on them. I don't know what it is, but you got something up on these guys. So anyway, I don't expect it to ever cost you. And I really, I say this every year, we're a Christian organization. I think when you get an ejection for some of the things that when I say we, I'm talking about some individuals in our league have done, that's not a reflection on what we represent. And I know it's not a reflection of those guys, because I talk to them. They're both football and basketball and soccer guys, all of them. I never have had a baseball ejection, by the way, which is good, because that's kind of a rite to passage there. But let's just get away from those so that we don't have to talk about, the fines and the penalties and everything. But you will have a game to sit out if you are ejected. You will have a fine if you're ejected. The player will have a fine if he's ejected, and he'll have to sit out. So let's just get away from them. That's the easy way out. And I know that you can get – I know this. I learned this last year. I thought you had to have 2 yellow cards, but you don't. You can get put out on the first card. You can be a red card if it's something flagrant enough. It's like in football. I know that one. You can get ejected on the first incident. You don't have to have 2. So kind of leave that behind. That's what it is, and we're all familiar with that. Something that's very popular with our league. You can read a lot of this on your own. I kind of want to move through this kind of quick. Removal, suspension. You shouldn't be at the game, nor should a player be at the game. I doubt you're going to have to worry about tournaments this year. Did anybody get in a soccer tournament? I know that UIL, as far as fall tournaments and their fall sports, they're not doing any tournaments. So tournaments will probably be out of the realm of possibility. We may wind up somebody having a volleyball tournament or two, but may not. Everybody needs to have a code of ethics form, whether you're a volunteer or otherwise, especially if you're the head coach. Make sure you got that, because that's the one that you sign and give it to your athletic director. And that'll be where you're effectively saying you know and understand the rules of the ethics of the game and the ethics of the game, and that you're going to try to abide by those. I know we can do it. Officials, I know we had some problems last year. So you get your officials as you can. You've got a schedule now. I've been in contact with Craig a little bit today, just in general, and I know his staff is ready to work. And I haven't talked to the lady that.
Hey, Bill, can I mention one thing about officials?
You sure can.
Yeah, we need to reiterate with him that last year and I think several schools can vouch for me, that the group that he brought out had several that were very, very young kids out there. And we need to reiterate with him, or if you do or I do, that we need to have, and they at an elementary level, they probably would have been fine, but at the high school level, you need somebody that's a little more salty and a little more aged on that.
Well, and I agree.
And that would be.
And I have spoken with him about it, but it will not hurt if you talk to him too.
I can remind him.
He and I have had several discussions about soccer season last year, believe me. Matter of fact, we had lunch one day together after some stuff, after I had some complaints from you guys, and I made him buy my lunch as a result. But yeah, we had some discussions about that very thing, actually, about the youthfulness of the officials, and so he is aware of that complaint, more than just aware.
Okay.
But it won't hurt to go ahead and bring it up. So we need 3 officials.
Well, I'll remind him, and I'll share with him again, and then I'll call his official.
Okay. In the event that only 2 officials show up, you can agree to play the game. If you decide you don't want to play it and you want to protest it, you protest it then, that moment in time. And you can play under protest. This is a little used rule that is beneficial to know as a coach. You know, they're required, the home team is required to furnish the 3 officials. And if 2 show up, you can mutually agree, or you can say as a visitor, I'm going to play this game, but I'm playing it under protest. And you need to say it before the game starts. And you need to have the official make a note on his card or whatever that you're playing it under protest. Because I'll tell you, that's a win-win situation. Because now the home team has been in violation, and if you lose, you get the forfeit. So that is what it is, and you need to know that rule. So don't waste a whole afternoon. Get the time in, and now here's the thing. Sometimes we have to realize that sometimes officials get caught in traffic. Sometimes officials get sick, and hopefully, when you get there, or as a home coach, you verified with Craig or the lady that does those, or whatever chapter you're using, that those officials are going to be there. And they may be late from time to time, because we start fairly early. And I don't know about soccer officials as much, but I know that volleyball officials and football officials, all pretty much have regular jobs as well. But anyway, some tolerance is to be used there, but that's a rule that everybody needs to know and understand. Uniforms need to be according to specs. Should have a home and away uniform, or at least a jersey. 2 40-minute halves should be no more than 20 minutes. Team may agree on less, but not more. Y'all know about substitutions and red cards. I'm not going to get into much of that. You know about the size of the field dimensions, district play. The games must end in a win. Jim, I don't remember what we did about darkness last year. Do you? on games that may have been
Not
called
right
because of
off.
darkness. I'm having a blank spot today.
Jimmy, do you remember how we did that? Jimmy,
I
can
believe if we were up against the time frame, if it went to straight to penalty kicks, if we were going to be, if it was a tie
Yeah.
at the end of the game,
I think I
we went
remember
straight
that.
to PKs instead of playing that extra. Instead
with
of
no
playing that
OT.
extra deal. So
Yeah.
there was no overtime. Went straight to PKs if we were up against the dark.
Yes, I think
And a lot of that has to do with the lighting, Bill, because, with some of those games when they go on like that, it gets pretty twilight and then now when we play over there in tournament play or something, you go OT, but I think the PK would be the best.
Yeah, I think we did that last year. Like James said, I believe I remember, because I know we talked about it, but just seeing it right there made me have a blank. My hot water heater went out, and I've been doing that for 2 days. Points to remember, utilizing the kicks. I'm not going to go over that. You guys can, I'll send this out, alternating kickers. I'll post a video on this too. Tiebreakers head to head. If there's a 3-way tie, we use a point system. And you can familiarize yourself with that. I advise you to. It's all on the website, tcafellowship.com. Under athletics, go to soccer, and you can pull all this up. Postseason play. Hopefully we get into that. I sure hope we do. And this kind of talks about the 2 10-minute overtimes, etc. Safety. Here's a good place for me to deviate, Coach Sickler. I'm going to move into another arena right now so that we can talk about this.
Okay.
I don't know how many of you guys were involved in strength and conditioning over the summer. Were some of you into that a little bit? Involved in those programs? Mostly it's football and basketball coaches, but I thought you might have been in it. You guys know right now one of the biggest things we're having to deal with is the COVID stuff. So we're gonna hit a little bit on that. Do this every time here. Here we go. I lose my chat deal. I have to go back and find it. We're going to jump over this litigation thing. This is more or less, Robin, I know you've seen this, but this is what I developed our slideshow from the other night. And you guys are aware of, the governor's deal and all that. But if you had done strength and conditioning this summer, can y'all see the picture up there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I had it up. Sometimes I mess up. If you'd been in strength conditioning, you would have received some stuff there this summer about, taking care of the kids, basically, taking care of yourself, basically, making sure that everything's sterilized, that you use, a ball for each kid if you can get them, all those kind of things. As we move forward, we need to look at some of that because I don't want anybody to have to miss a game or a week or 2 weeks because somebody coming down with the COVID or exposing my team to the COVID, because that creates multiple problems for us, which we may have anyway. But take care of kids in practice. You do what you have to do. Use as many balls as you can use. Sterilize the balls. If you're using something where you have a changeover, get another ball, like it's some team stuff or something. Work in small groups as much as possible, groups of 5. I don't know how many most of you have on your team, but I think nearly everybody will have like 12, 15, 20. I don't know if I'm too far off of that from what I've seen through the years. Just those things are really important. You hear about them on the news every day. You hear about masks. Masks are good. And actually, Governor kind of addressed this in his package that we all should wear a mask. And even UIL and TAPS are both doing this. The Major League Baseballers, some of them are playing in their masks. But The rules that I've read and looked at and kind of adopted on that here is that when a player's not in the game and not able to stay 6 feet away from his partner, he should have his mask on. Now, if he's in the game, I know Steve Sharman and I have had a talk about this. It gets hot and you got to breathe. So there's no requirement to do it then. But anybody that's not social distancing, I hate that word, should wear their mask. You know, you should wear it. And coaches as well, because I know how I am how I was when I was coaching. I had kids on the sideline. I was talking to them. I was really excited about something. And when I get really excited, sometimes I get to salivating, you know, and I'll spit, and that's going to be a problem. I don't know if any of you guys have that problem, but I do. That's probably why nobody wants to sit at the front row in our AD meetings, because I get kind of carried away sometimes. But anyway, let's just kind of move forward. In his order, you know, the use of face masks are required. There's times to use them, times not to use them. As I mentioned, when you're actively participating, that's not a time. Or if you're exercising and working out actively, that's good. Try to take care of that. I'm going to throw a couple others in. Water. All athletes should bring their own water. Don't share. That's common sense. You know, that's not in the mandate, but it's common sense. Don't use the same water. Avoid as much physical contact as you can, even though this is a contact game. I know that's going to happen and nobody's going to avoid it then. But pointless contact, you may want to avoid that as a player and or a coach. I think it'd really be good, you know, if you protected your kids when you're getting on their behind on the sideline or commending them or whatever. It's really important to take care of those kids. It's the biggest part of it. And that's the main thing I wanted to talk about today. Some things that apply in all sports is that I don't know if most of you guys run a gate or not. Jim, do y'all have a gate when you go to your games? Coach Sickler, Robin?
Not for soccer.
Not for soccer. Okay, so this might or might not apply, but in
no, we don't have one, Coach.
Okay, got you. This might apply especially with the players. And actually, you should screen your players every day, especially if nothing else, just an infrared thermometer. Pop them once with that. Make sure they're under 100.3. Actually, there's a 1 degree tolerance on those, I found out. So 1 plus or minus 1 from the 100.3 would mean they're basically okay. This is common sense that if somebody does, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Make sure that kids don't come to school when they are sick or come to practice when they're sick. It's going to be really important, I think. Jim, I heard today that y'all have already got a case in Keene at the ISD. Heard it on the news. I don't know if it's true or not because you can't really believe.
Yeah, but they're way up the street.
I just bring it up. It just hit me all of a sudden. So
yeah.
You know, you need to kind of take care of those kids again by screening them. By doing that, you're taking care of all of your kids. You're taking care of yourself, and you're taking care of your opponents. When you get like Jim Sickler and I, very often, you know, we're about like both over 40 now, and we have to take care of ourselves a little bit better. And I appreciate it. I know we've got several people. Alan Burt just got over some cancer stuff. Gary Rushing had some open heart surgery a couple years ago, and he still deals with his kidneys. There's all kinds of people out there that you don't know about that have underlying health issues, and it's just really important. I hope I'm not sounding overly worried about it, because I'm not. If I was, then I would have encouraged Corey to let's just cancel this baby. But I think we should play. I think we should be in school. But I think we got to be smart about what we do. And I don't think anybody in this group would disagree, because I've talked to several of you. I know I've talked to Jim, I've talked to Robin, I've talked to Alan, I've talked to Shauna some, and it's been a concern that everybody has. But we all want to be
Well, I
back.
think you'll find though, Bill, that mainly it's just that I'm sure that each one of these ADs and coaches have already been schooled by their administration. And, you know, it's just basically using common sense. One advantage we have is kids are going to be outside. And, you know, and those coaches that are concerned, you know, I'm sure that their school or admin has provided them an infrared temperature gauge. But and I'm sure each one of the ADs will really work hard to follow the guidelines. You know, we just need to use good judgment, and I think all will work out.
Yeah, I'll try not to belabor this too much, but I feel obligated to kind of go over it with these guys. Anybody that comes in, you'd like to around, but being like Jim said, outside provides a whole different venue. There's very little happens outside. So you're probably pretty safe there. Let's talk about being suspected. Have y'all gone on over some of this stuff in your school with your administrators? This is a accumulation of CDC, health officials, UIL, TAPS, NFHS. All of it kind of contributes to this. You're going to have two kinds of people, those that may be suspected and those that may be infected. And these are the three criteria that you need to look at right here under number 1 in order for them to return to play, so to speak. At least a 24-hour have passed since recovery of fever. We're not running a fever anymore. A 24-hour period. The individual has improved symptoms, and at least 10 days have passed since the first symptom occurred. At that point, they can return to play when all three of those criteria have been met. And that applies to those that have been diagnosed and those that have been exposed. There's a key word here I'm gonna get to in a minute called close contact. And this is one of the reasons I talk about masks, because it triggers me as a coach. That's campus stuff. But the big thing is to meet those three criteria. And those should be identified. And if you catch one that's running a fever like that, identify them and send them home. Let your administrators know about it, et cetera, et cetera. This is the word I'm looking for, close contact. We've finally come up with the definition on close contact. As I've researched this through the summer, I always kind of wondered, like, how close was close contact and what constitutes it. So they've developed sort of a definition here for that. And this one of the questions when on your screening process, ask, and I've been asked this when I go to the doctor, the dentist, or wherever, they ask me if I've been in contact with anybody that had COVID. I had a repairman here yesterday. He said, before I come in, I have to ask you, have you been in contact with anybody that had COVID? Close contact. Well, close contact is being directly exposed. I'll kind of highlight this and maybe it'll stay with you there. Being directly exposed to secretions. Soccer is a good place to get exposed to sweat and slobber and spit. So that's important right there to possibly be. Or being within 6 feet for a cumulative duration of 15 minutes with an individual with any of these symptoms we've been talking about. So both of those are close contact issues, which might need further investigation on your part, or a medical doctor, or what do we call it, quarantine. The three conditions have to be met before these can return, or they can go to a doctor and get a doctor's clearance to pursue their activities. 10 days, as we talked about a minute ago, have to be away from the first symptom for 10 days. we don't have to worry about this much because your school's going to take care of that. Y'all know the symptoms, I'm sure. You watch the news. I watch the news, and it's really it's a wild deal right now. But we got to live with it, and you need to be aware of them with your kids. My grandson got to work out one day this summer. He had diarrhea. They sent him home for 10 days, believe it or not. They're pretty serious around here about it. They're pretty serious around here. Of course, here they're subject to UIL rules. We have guidelines. UIL strictly enforces it like they do the eligibility rules or anything else. I just offer up guidelines, offer things that I've learned about this disease and that a lot of my fellow coaches have learned. Questionnaire is a good one to use. All right, so do we have any questions or comments on anything so far? Let's go back to a little game stuff again. Some things that I've thought about game stuff involve the water that I mentioned, less contact than is necessary with anybody other than the teams that are on the field. Jim, I don't know about balls, how we can rotate balls easily and clean them after after a possession when it goes out of bounds.
Our admin wants us to clean them before and after the game, and but I'm sure that each school is going to have a different protocol. But even with our volleyballs and things like that, they're going to be prepped before and after the game. Once again, we're at an advantage because it's outside for the soccer.
Right.
And but my recommendation would be that whoever the home team is, when they take the balls back, obviously it's just clean them and whatever. And another thing that we suggest, I don't know how some of the other schools are, but some of our boys have a tendency not to wash their clothes. We want them to wash their clothes immediately within a 24-hour period after they play. And and another thing is, like, when they bring backpacks and stuff, that they keep them separated from other backpacks and everything when they bring them out to the game. That was kind of the main thing that we had talked about, and that I talked with my coaches about. Once again, like I say, each one of these schools, it's been nonstop from their administrators about how to prep. And, there's basically most of the schools are going to be exactly alike. There may be one or two that may differ a little bit, but once again, the cleanliness and the cleaning is going to be the ticket. And then, if the coaches can't wear the face mask, they can pull it down. And then when they get close and need to talk to a player, just pull the face mask up. We're going to require all our coaches to have face mask on. They don't necessarily have to pull it up when they have a 6-foot distance. And then another suggestion that I would like to make, that when you have a bench, if you feel a need, that you can put another bench behind that bench, and if you want to space out your players. Now, there again, that's just a thought. But the main thing is that they have their own water bottles. And I would even suggest that each one of the players be temped or have their temperature taken before they go onto the field or go into play. So, and that the coaches can do that before the game or before they leave to go to that home team.
Pre-game screen. Alan, are you still there as an athletic director? Shauna?
Yes, I'm here.
You want to give
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You want to give any input about your school and things that may be going on, things that you might recommend to these ladies and gentlemen?
I think we're pretty much all on the same page. The only thing that we're doing different is we're not requiring masks. We're letting it be optional. If you want to wear a mask, you can, but we're not forcing people to wear masks.
I understand that. You're not the only one. I do know that.
Mm-hmm.
What about anything on the game that during the course of the game. That if there anything there that you can think of that we might want to address, because soccer is not, I told you guys, soccer is not my forte. I love coming to your all district meetings because I just sit back and relax, and I don't have any kind of emotional attachment as far as knowledge about the game. Alan, we're talking,
Yes, sir.
talking about in game and practice behavior
Yes.
practices that you might suggest.
Well, yes, I've actually been on the call. For whatever reason, the video went away. But okay. I'm very fortunate. Derek DeMoss, our head coach there at Westlake Academy. Derek works a lot with club soccer. We sat down, he and our junior high coach, for almost 2 hours today. We're going to, as far as practices, the kids are going to start out bringing their own ball. And you're going to begin our workouts with them having their own ball, and then work our way into having us providing the balls. Equipment wise, we're not going to have much out, just because if you put some bigger cones and things out and kids kick them over, reach down, grab them, you're going to be cleaning all those. So trying to use a little bit of trying to think about ways in which to have do the same things without using as much equipment. For games, yes, we're temperature checking, and when you come to Westlake Academy, we're happy to temperature check as they're coming by, and I will be happy to do that. Benches, we're going to set those apart, and as Jim said, we're going to have to double deck, kind of look like if you watch the NBA or the WNBA, how they have their seats spaced out. We are definitely changing balls at halftime. It'll be clean. It'll be halftime. And we're going to do our best that when a ball goes out of bounds and we have to put a new ball in play, that ball is going to be clean before it's put back down next to the goal. We're going to try that. We don't know if we can do that. The game moves so fast, and we don't. And then again, we don't know if we're going to have enough personnel to do that.
Those are your goals.
But those are the goals. And these are things we're going to try.
Alberto, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Any comments on any of this stuff that you might have experienced in your time as a soccer coach that might be beneficial to?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what everybody's saying. Here, I'll put my video on. I'm eating. I've had a busy day. I agree with what everybody's saying. I mean, I think some of the biggest concerns going forward is like injuries and stuff like that. So I think maybe for all the coaches on here, kind of being preemptive with their thoughts behind what's the procedures in the event that there's a kid who gets a cut. And let's say it's a mild cut. You know, do you have a table set up with things already available for them to maybe, if it's something that they can service themselves, maybe they can go there and you can have someone overseeing it. If it's something more serious and you don't have an athletic trainer on campus, then you have to know who's going to do it. You know, having gloves prepared, having your mask readily available. You know, if you have, like you said, a situation where maybe they're not playing and your school does require them to have masks, where do the kids put their mask when they go into the game and then come back? You know, do I put it on the grass floor? You know, it's little things like that is going to be interesting to figure out what everybody's doing. But I think for me, just the injuries and just maybe trying to think about through those things if you haven't already. And then obviously the water stuff, we're going to have our kids label the waters, you know, just in case they happen to mix them up. That doesn't happen, obviously, hopefully. You know, having the kids take their jerseys home and wash them, like I think Alan was saying. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I think like Shauna was saying, everybody's pretty much on the same page with everything. So,
Hey, Bill, if I can jump back in.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we're talking about the mask, what we're going to do with our kids is they're all going to have the gaiters or the buffs. So that way they can slide up, slide down, and can actually play with them on. Might be a little hot around the neck, but that allows them, if they come out, they can slip that thing up. And so on the sidelines, they'll have those up. Coaches can slide them down, talk, put them back up. And even as an option, because Bill, you mentioned it, I'm watching Major League Baseball, and you're seeing guys playing the whole game without it. Now, soccer's different. Baseball doesn't run as much, but we've even got kids. Our quarterback in football, he's been practicing with his helmet on with a gator. I say practicing. He's on his own out there, and he's trying to see how it would look, how it would feel wearing the gator while he's playing the game. So we're going that route instead of the regular mask, because Alberto makes the right point. When I take it off, where does it go?
You got
what do I do with it?
You've got a phone number and a man's name that you can order those from.
I do, and they customize them. So
okay.
there's 8 different options of putting your logo and everything on it, and we're doing them for every sport. We have registration fees for our families, so those gators are going to be part of the registration fee, and each sport has a different design. And I will put in the chat who we get them from. It's BSN Sports. Craig Farmer's our dealer. He lives right here in Fort Worth. But I will put I'll put in the chat his name and phone number.
Brandon Gonzalez, you got anything, brother?
I mean, yeah, just listening to everyone, man. It's good to hear everyone. You know, we've spent a lot of time on this all summer. All of us have. I mean, it's been, we've tried to do some strength and conditioning on things and had to cancel for various COVID-related issues and such out here in Weatherford. But, you know, trying to clean the balls, you know, if you've got 3, 4, 5 game balls around the field as they go out of bounds, I think Alan was saying, it's kind of, if I've got a ball boy of some sort there, can definitely try to clean them, but definitely clean them at halftime and such there. The idea with the Gators and stuff for all the kids, it's something that I've talked about with my administration. Do we want a customized, you know, athlete/coach mask for everyone to have that we just, you know, wrap into the fees or registration cost and stuff? And I'm still kind of waiting on an answer for that. You know, as far as the school goes, we are going to obviously test every kid that comes in each day. We're actually going to do our test after, I think, 2 hours. I mean, in case, this is going to sound terrible, but in case maybe they've taken some fever-reducing medicine or something, so they can get dropped off for school and kind of let that wear off and then test them and such. And currently we are going to let that test kind of dictate the rest of the school day and extracurricular activities, so we'll not have to test our kids again, but definitely keeping records of who actually comes to practice and trying to maintain the groups as much as possible. But obviously it's kind of an uphill battle on some of those things, because they are going to practice, right? And then obviously eventually compete as well against other schools. So I'm taking notes when I hear good ideas and thoughts and things that maybe we haven't discussed here over at VBA, but we are, we're all on the same page here. So I like the idea also of kind of taking the second half of the season and counting that for, you know, our records and such there. But again, I think we're all just hoping that all of us can play. I mean, that's kind of been the theme for most of my families here. It's like, are we going to get to play soccer? When's it going to start? And same thing with volleyball and such. And I'm thankful that we have some starting dates now, and we can kind of go on as, you know, quote unquote normal as possible. So.
Now that I run into this a lot, and I'm sure that most of you are familiar with our website. This is the new website, tcafellowship.com. I urge you to get familiar with this. The calendar is also on this website. For some reason, I can't see all my stuff up here at the top, but you need to be familiar with the calendar, because the calendar's going to pop things like this right here up onto the front page. For example, on the date your rosters are due, it'll come up right here and it'll say what's due on October or August the 6th or September 15th or whatever. I didn't want to go over all that today, but I did want to expose you to the website. My computer is really slow when I get on Zoom. If you click on athletics, I don't know if you can get your computer to go there or not. Now, I finally got mine to move there. Under resources is where you find the calendar. And the calendar has all the dates on it. Occasionally it'll change a little bit, so keep an eye on it. There may be things changed for different reasons this year than normal. There's always information there popping up. Also, I encourage you, if you have a Facebook account, to join the closed group called Tcaf, Athletic Directors, Coaches, and Administration. It's a closed group. I'll recognize your name and I'll approve you get in there. You can post there, and a lot of times I put things there, like I'll put some of these videos on there. But you can go down on this front page to soccer, and it will take you to the website for soccer. It'll give you the schedules. I'm going to back off of that one and go to this one if it'll stop. Yep, too far in. But there you have your soccer districts, the bracket, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to go back here, back one to policies and forms. I'll point this out to you right quick. You can do now your game report online. Hopefully my computer will get there before time to close. If you got a good computer, it'll probably get there. I have a good, well, that didn't help any. I have a good computer, I just don't have a good internet. But if you get to that site, go to policies and forms, you'll see all the game reports listed over in the right-hand column. There we go. There's the soccer game report right there. It's very simple. Maybe it'll load. I hope. Maybe it won't go away. Right after the game, you go in this. It's just very quick, you know, because I have to kind of segregate this. It'd be District 1, District 2, who's the home team, what your score was, did you win or lose, who's the visiting score, visitor win or loss, what chapter did you use, submit. So if you use Elite Sport, then you can do that. When you hit submit, all that comes to my personal drive, my Google Drive, and I'm able to keep up with it, and I'll share it with our commissioner and district chairs. Guys, I'm glad that you guys all made it tonight. I've been really concerned about this year. It's been a lot of ups and downs in the year, in the spring, since March and February. So I'm just grateful. I'm happy that we're getting a chance. Whitney, I didn't ask you, do you have any input you'd like to throw out there? I just kind of randomly picking pictures.
No, our school is going through a lot of growth right now. Like, we're getting a whole new elementary campus, and I'm the elementary PE teacher, and we haven't even been allowed on campus yet. So I haven't even got to meet with my AD or anything. I just took a whole lot of notes and run it all by him and see what our game plan is.
Well, if this works like it's supposed to, I'll have a video of this, and you know, you can pull the button across if you want to go faster or slower. Guys, I've got another meeting at 7, one for cross country. Some of you will be back at that. You'll get some of the same stuff, but probably a little bit more about cross country. You guys do a great job. I appreciate all of you. Like I said, I really do enjoy coming to your meetings. They're one of my most enjoyable days of the year, actually. It's real pleasant at the meetings. Everybody gets along. There's not really anybody firing any bullets, and that happens sometimes in the other sports.
I don't get along with Pedro or Robin Jenkins. I don't get along with Pedro or Robin, either one of them, ever.
I feel the love, Albert.
I miss you, man.
All right, guys.
See me, bro.
I'm gonna shut off of this and get ready for my other meeting, and maybe the video.
Hey, thanks, Bill. We appreciate it.
Hey, y'all
Thanks,
take care.
guys.
Be safe.
We'll see you later.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to the season.
You guys take care.